to kind of see if he didn't do research, he got research while he was there because he didn't go on until near the end of the first round. So I'm pretty sure Havoc and Shock were after this,
and Havoc and Shock were the main event. Correct.
They were the main event of round one.
You were the opener.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I was the opener. They picked me to be the opener because they needed me to do what I do, and that's get everybody riled up. Come in.
Are you saying to me that you're the real? Are you telling me that you're the energy of wrestling and that Mr. LaFlame is not? Is that what you're telling me right now?
I'm not saying that, but they picked me to go first for a reason because they know the intensity that I bring and the attention to detail and the level of the desire I have to be the best. And to go first to set the tone is what they wanted me to do. It's what they needed me to do, and that's exactly what I did. I set the tone for the beginning of the riot. You hear them yelling or cheering, this is awesome at the end of the match. For what, 5 minutes? We went 5 minutes.
Yep.
And I took care.
We were talking about this.
I took care of Onyx, who the announcers, who are Jake.
They said he was the one that was favored because of the size advantage, and he was making his return to NEW for the first time in 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Onyx, but he can return back to home. And
he did afterwards. He lost the match. That's where he was only going. He was only going home. A long ride there to Buffalo.
He can hope I take a trip up to Buffalo so he can have an attempt to get that one back.
I'm pretty sure I'm starting to sense something here, Mr. Savage. You're certainly a very savage animal, and I'll get to comments shortly. I say thank you to everybody who's about to join us here on the Promo Wrestling Federation page and the Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube page. Do you mean to tell me what you're saying? You're making a lot of points here that are interesting. Do you think that really we should be talking about you instead of D'Angelo LaFlame all these months on Sportswire? Is that what you're telling me based on what you've done and that Mr. LaFlame really, you're basically in his spot? Basically, he's basically took over the spot that you should have in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit? Is that what you're telling me here right now?
So if I was going to all these places, the last thing I would want is to wrestle the guy who isn't at the top. And I know everybody wants to wrestle for the championship. And realistically, I don't really care about the other people's heavyweight championships because most of the time, they just pass it around to each other to pad their stats. I want their best worker. I want their best wrestler because I want to test myself, the guy that is the name for them. To name drop. I talked to Taylor about going to ROEW.
ROEW for you. Yep.
And if I go there, obviously the main guy, Jack Delta. Everybody wants Jack Delta.
He's here Friday night in prime time, the biggest stage, the brightest lights, and he's going to talk about another Pennsylvania guy, Aaron Blaze, that everybody talks about here in the scene. Yep.
And that's the thing. I don't care that he has the belt. I couldn't care if we had a match and it was for the belt. It is strictly out of wanting to see who the best is, because that's what I look at. I look at your top guys and where do I stack up against them? And every single time I'm just as good, if not better than these guys, because the guys I'm wrestling on a day-to-day basis: Jake Matthews, Power Surge, Leonidas, Justin Abel Sane,
Tyson Spade.
You can say it, I won't. But those guys,
he was the champion. I have to put him in there.
He was the champion. You're right. But
and I think we lost you there. Hopefully we'll get you back. Hopefully you're back and you're lost in translation there, D Savage. Hope that you come back. Maybe it's an issue because right now, if you are in the Northeast, you're going through some thunderstorms and some heavy rain. So hopefully you come back and get back with us. But we are right now live on Sportswire Radio. Let me say hello to some people. First of all, hello to Mr. Jake Dvorak, who's going to be here tomorrow night about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, maybe between 8:30 and 9. I know that we're going to see Rampage 164. That'll be live here at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling YouTube page. While D Savage hopefully comes back with us, but D Savage loves Roman Reigns, but hopefully he has better Wi-Fi here. But evening, and yes, thank you to our owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, who, by the way, are going to be here coming up in this chair next week, and they're going to be in the Sportzwire Radio Hall of Fame. Let me take this off the screen. Are you alive? Did somebody try to cut your Wi-Fi or what? Are you okay now, my friend? Nope, I lost him again. You are lost in translation. D Savage. D Savage. There you go.
Hello.
Are you okay? Yes, I hear you, but do you hear us? Because you are obviously having some technical difficulties. Maybe it's some storms in your way in Pennsylvania, because I know in New York we just went through them. Hello there. Hello there, Mr. D Savage. We have lost D Savage once again. We're going to try to bring him back up on the screen as D'Angelo LaFlame is victorious. Hopefully he comes back in here. Are you here, Mr. Savage? Are you alive? Are you alive, Mr. Savage? I hope you can come back with us here. I am really hoping that you have not had your real raw energy cut from us here. Real raw energy. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you alive? Are you alive? Because I gotta get through comments, and I got somebody else that wants to jump in here. Are you this is your moment in prime time. Let's go. Come on, let's go. D Savage, you're killing me here right now. You're killing me right now. Let's see you now. Are you alive, D Savage? Oh boy, we're not having. This is not the night for technical issues here, but it looks like D Savage, you are certainly running through some issues here, and I'm going to try to bring this off the screen. Are you alive now, D Savage?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Yeah, my the power went out for fucking like 2 hours before this happened. We had
well, your power's out now. Is it? If it's okay, listen. If you need to, take a break, it's okay. I understand. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, the power is on. I don't know why my laptop was.
Well, we'll keep it. Well, I won't put that, but there's somebody that does want to say hello now that you're in issues. Has your Wi-Fi? Is your Wi-Fi okay?
Some better Wi-Fi, bro.
Look at this guy.
And I was waiting for like D Savage to go on the shooting range. I was looking for him to shoot and basically, hit some targets there. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to follow that up here. And Stephen Havoc's here. He's like, he didn't hack you, by the way. So Stephen Havoc didn't hack your Wi-Fi?
I don't know, man.
Are you good to stay with us? Are you okay? Because Mr. Dvorak's here for a little bit. You okay?
I'm good.
Are you sure? Let me run through some comments to let your Wi-Fi test it. Hello, Mr. Dvorak. Obviously, we're going to see you here tomorrow as well. Let me run through some more comments. Yes, I think I got that wrong. Thank you, Mr. Allen, for that was Rosie, right? Rosie was Roman Reigns' brother, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for reminding me about that. Speaking of hardcore kings who I know are not in the Riot in the Ring, Mr. Atomic Titan, who's going to be here next Thursday and Halloween. But also here, I want to say hello to the boys in Iowa. The IMF boys are here. Let's go. Yes, Rampage 164, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, for those that didn't show up, the Riot in the Ring, I think I said it. To me, I think it's the complete open spectacle of all wrestling matches. It's the greatest underground spectacle today. What's it, 15 companies were a part of this or something like that? Some crazy number, right? Am I missing one or two? I mean, is that about the number, right? 15 or something like that? Find me
something
a place
like that.
Well, that shows you why people, want to be a part of it. And James Taylor says, hello, Tom and Mr. Savage. And Savage, gets him better Wi-Fi. Are you good, Mr. Savage? You want to say something there, Mr. Savage, before I bring Mr. Jake on here? What do you want to say?
Eat my ass, Jake.
I'm going to say that Mr. Taylor will obviously answer that maybe when he's here Friday. I'm going to certainly plead the fifth on that. If that's the way people want to go, that's up to them and their God. But Mr. Dvorak, what brings you here for a few minutes before I come back to the Savage Animal? What would you like to say and set the tables for us on Thursday's show?
What are you doing on my time?
Well, listen.
He saw you were struggling with Wi-Fi. That's what he did.
I figured that I would come save the show because this former
like how we took
champion,
your title away from you after 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
And there he goes. His Wi-Fi's going out again. He's glitching all over again. Congrats, Savage.
Oh my God. Poor Savage. Poor Savage Animal.
You know what, man? Maybe this is why you're not undisputed champion. Maybe you need to upgrade your Wi-Fi
I'm not
if you have any
undisputed champion
hosts.
because you're a pretentious prick.
What do you mean?
Tell us how you really feel.
Come on,
Oh
Savage.
no, do your thing, Papa.
Okay. What a way to get yourself warmed up for Friday against D'Angelo LaFlame. I mean, you're starting to unravel here a little bit. You're almost doing a Justin Parsley on us. I hope you don't go into that territory. But what's on your mind, Mr. Dvorak? I have to obviously let you have an opportunity to speak.
Well, I figured I'd come save your show because apparently Savage, the guest of tonight, can't get his Wi-Fi figured out. So I figured I'd come on a day early, get the crowd still watching because, you know, I saw the viewership was kind of low here. So I want to come in and save the show.
I think you know what it
Savage
is. I
out.
think it's Wednesday. I think people, you know, the last couple of shows I had, you know, a little bit, we needed some real raw energy. I mean, God bless my guest, you know, yesterday, but, you know, was what it was. You know, I mean, I think that they're obviously not Jake Dvorak. They're not obviously, you know, D'Angelo the Flame or the Surge. And, you know, that's kind of what it was. I don't know. I mean, it happens. What can I say, you know?
Well, no, I was more talking about Savage, but
oh, okay. I was going to say in general. I mean,
well,
to be fair, I had people message me. I actually had people
know.
message me about yesterday's shows and like, you know, I was watching and boy, you know, I don't want to say on the air because I really like our guest a lot that came on here, Lydia Myers, of course, in the Hall of Fame, and Tristan Taylor owning the PWF Mid-South. But, you know, it wasn't obviously when you come on or the Surge or obviously D'Angelo the Flame. You know, I'm thinking of even Stephen Havoc. I got to say, Stephen Havoc was interesting when he was here. He actually was like interesting, but, you know, it's what it is. But we're here now and it's all water under the bridge. It's all good. What can I say?
Right. So, Savage, what are your plans to beat D'Angelo LaFlame Friday?
Fucking, you know me, bud. Get in there, get out.
What the audience wants to know. That's great that you're telling Jake, but I want to know what the people want to, because, you know, like I was saying, Jake, everybody talks about D'Angelo LaFlame. He's wrestled in all these places, but he hasn't wrestled the kind of talent that we see in NEW and this riot in the ring. And, you know, I've even heard through the grapevine, and maybe I'll even say it, Mr. LaFlame himself, you know, I'm really testing myself now against talent in NEW. And D Savage, you're one of those guys that he has an opportunity to test his skills, but it's your home territory. It's your home underground, your home ground, you might want to call it. And this outsider, this traveler who's traveled from the other side of the country wants to come into your home ground and basically usurp all the things that you've done, where he's in the place that you should be, basically.
So here's the thing. You brought it up about defending our home territory.
Yep. Yes, I did.
If Leo wouldn't have been worried about trying to get people to sign up for his fucking $25 promotion on Mohegan Sun accounts, he could have put more focus into his match.
Is that the one that I bought a ticket for, or is that something else?
Oh, no, he just wanted you to sign up.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So to get $25 on his Mohegan Sun.
I'm surprised I wasn't asked for this. I get asked for everything these days.
I'm shocked. It's probably coming carrier pigeon because you can't afford stamps.
Well,
to mail it to you. So,
good point. Duly noted.
And here's the thing: I am much better at preparing for things like this than Leo is.
Mm-hmm.
Preparation coming from all the sports, basketball.
Yep.
That's it. And then we've touched on this. I've only been doing this not even 2 years, and look what I've accomplished. I've come to one of the best, if not the best, company to work for.
I agree. Listen, you know what? I not, for those out there, I always bring you guys up. Always bring you guys up. I mean, you know, we've known each other for 3 or 4 months, and you guys impress me so much. The roster that you have here, and, you know, the amount of people that have come here. I mean, you know, there's a lot of companies that come on here, and, you know, you're obviously trying to be pedestrian. You're obviously trying to be, you know, I think at times there's a lot of people that want to be here, but you guys, to me, I mean, you guys are pound for pound, have some of the premier talent, I would dare say, anywhere. Indie, underground, backyard. I don't even know what you call some of these things at this point. I mean, it's, you know, the facts speak for itself. And the riot in the ring is the example of that. I mean, you know, I say it and you know it.
Yeah, in perfect world, this is what I would do with NEW.
Oh,
Fire Spade. That's about it. So, other than that, this is the best place I've ever worked for. I've only worked for like 2 places, but this is the best one. The other one being UWF, where shouting those guys out. They're probably like they're a little higher up in the brutality than us, I'd say.
I think so. I mean,
No.
yes, there's no, and I think that I'll be talking a lot about that with Mr. Dvorak tomorrow because we know he's going to be a participant in a few of those places coming up for sure. I mean, I'm going to definitely have a lot to say on those things. Yes, UWF is obviously, we think about Doc Holliday, Gabe. I mean, a lot of those guys that we see here in the Riot in the Ring are a part of the UWF. Obviously, Jake is going to talk about that as well. No question. UWF is a fantastic place, a fantastic company for sure. I agree with you 1,000%.
And we just need a couple more talented guys to really push us over the edge. Take our top 8 to. We had like 6 more.
But
more
you know
top tier
what?
guys.
But I want to go back to Mr. LaFlame because Mr. LaFlame, he still hasn't faced the talent that you have. You could say, yeah, we want to have this, we want to have that, but look at the roster of people we have. Now, I'll throw Spade away because you obviously dislike Spade, but let's talk about it, though. Justin Abel-Sane, right? Very impressive figure. Jake Dvorak, we know where he's going. UWF, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other places. He's going to be traveling, right? Let's talk about that for sure tomorrow. The Surge. I mean, the guy is literally bigger than my Power Surge outlet that covers all, like, 12 of my lights. We know that already. We've obviously got yourself. How about Reyes Silver? How about Zero? I mean, we got a lot of talent here in this company alone that I don't think that, with all due respect, and I love the companies that D'Angelo LaFlame works at. Everybody knows that. But, in this company, this is where the big leaguers are, the big boys, the pros are. I mean, you talked about who you've been in a locker room with, Jacoby and other guys, Xavier Thorne and Neff, and they're great. I love those guys dearly. But you've been in a locker room with Rich Swann and Ace Austin. Jake Dvorak's about to go wrestle and go shoulder to shoulder with Mikey Anarchy and Jimmy Controversy and Doc Holliday, all these guys, and they're going to spill maybe more blood than people have out in their coffee table for, tomorrow's, coffee and breakfast in the morning. And the facts are is that your name, put them all out there, they're still better than most rosters companies are that may come on this platform. And again, that's no shade. I mean, the facts are, look at the guys that you have. Look at the talent. What did I mention? 6 premier talents right now? Leonidas, throw him in. I got my 7. You don't want me to put Spade? That would be my 8, right?
Yeah, but what, like you mentioned, we got guys that are pro. We got guys that are training to go pro. Jake is about to burst onto the scene, back into the pro scene.
We're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow. I got a lot to say on that. I mean, absolutely.
So it's hard for me to believe, D'Angelo's going to be able to come in here and be okay. So if everybody's expecting D'Angelo to win this realistically, because they wouldn't keep talking about him and the Riot in the Ring.
I don't know if he's expected to win the Riot in the Ring. I mean, we've got some serious competition in the field. I mean, let's be honest. It's the Surge is in here. Jake's in there. You've got Doc Holliday. How about a guy like Mickey Vargas? Mickey Vargas, I wouldn't sleep on him. How about King Shock, what he did with Havoc? There's a lot of great talent in this thing. I don't think D'Angelo LaFlame is a favorite by a long shot. Now, if it was a tournament consisting of TBW, AWL, Resurrection Wrestling, sure. I think D'Angelo LaFlame could win that. He could win that field. He could definitely win that. He's wrestled those guys. He could beat most of those guys. But look at the names I just mentioned. I don't think he's favored by a long shot. I think the facts are is that D'Angelo LaFlame, he's going to have a tough time getting past you, my friend D. Savage, because I don't think he's faced ever anybody like you. And then on top of that, he's got his mind focused on the next day afterwards going to Gadsden, Alabama to wrestle at the Alliance Wrestling League's Endgame show against the guy, the Bishop of Brutality, to make an example of whatever you do, what's left of Mr. LaFlame. So I don't think he's anything by a long shot. And I'm keeping the footage on here because Mr. Dvorak's about to wrestle as well. But the facts are that I don't think he's favored by any stretch of the imagination. And your match could be where he decides that he has to go to a one-way ticket already back to Alabama and not come back to Massachusetts.
And everybody, is proud of D'Angelo. And
we all are. I got to be honest. I can't tell you personally what this young man has meant, what this young man, the way he's conducted himself. He's the true professional in every way, shape, or form. And that's why he's gotten the tryout with Impact and NW. He's the guy in 8 months that when I talk about him on this platform, he's the one guy that Jack Delta stopped and said, I want to talk about him. He don't talk about nobody else that gets mentioned. Everybody goes, yeah, I want to wrestle Jack Delta. And he kind of shrugs him off. He didn't shrug LaFlame off. So no question, LaFlame, everybody loves him, but this is competition.
Yeah, and Friday when I end his fairy tale run, when he goes home, when he goes back to Resurrection or AWL, TBW, they all pat him on the back and tell him, "You did your best, kid," but it just isn't going to be good enough.
But you know what? There's something else. And I'll get to comments, but there's something else that he's going to be a part of. And I'm sure both of you gentlemen are aware of it because you kind of kicked things off before they were about to do it. And it's out there in Bremen, Ohio next weekend. It's this little old thing, Summer Bash. And, Mr. LaFlame's going to be there for that as well. But Mr. Savage, I was wondering, since after all, you very well could be defeating Mr. LaFlame coming up this Friday in round 2 of the Riot in the Ring. I was wondering, where's your invite?
Yeah, that's kind of my exact thought process too. Because Jake, you're not going to Summer Bash, are you?
I believe Jake was
I got my
invited.
invite. I got my invite, but I can't make it. So
Jake was invited because he actually addressed this somewhere. He was invited. Yes.
Power Surge.
I believe he was invited, if I'm not mistaken. I believe. I mean, I obviously I'm not the orchestrator of the event. That would be up to Soldier, GP, Omen Black, and Darkron, but I'm pretty sure that they were definitely, Jake and Surge were given invites, and they're here tomorrow night, so they're going to both talk about that, I'm sure. But D Savage, I know for sure, I didn't hear your name mentioned, and Mr. LaFlame, he got, in fact, as a matter of fact, he got an invite. He got a match with Soldier GP, the IMF World Champion.
Well, it's probably his toughest match. Would you say that was his most high-profile opponent?
Well, he's going next. Well, I think you're going to face him first. That's it. That's if he survives you.
Well, I'm not in the business to hurt him. I'm not in the business to hurt him.
We don't know. Listen, he hasn't faced anybody like I said, Xavier Thorne, Jacoby, they're great opponents. I love Alan Michaels. Alan Michaels is a trained wrestler, and Alan Michaels might have been one of his better matches before he came into NEW, but the roster that he's faced still pales into comparison. Again, this is no shade on those guys. I love dearly. This is not like when we've talked about things in the past. The competition's slightly different when you're talking about yourself, talking about Jake, and certainly talking about Soldier GP. I mean, you guys are now it's like moving up the ranks almost. That's all.
Yeah, and you can see, Jake and I have only had one. If you want to count the cash in, one run in, and the reason
he won the match.
Yeah, he did win, but by the time he got to me when I was champion, he knew he was going to have to cash in on me because he wasn't beating me again.
Well, that's a good question. We'll have to obviously see. And
in the
how do I get in on this? I don't know. Who are you, Dark Barkley? Does anybody know a Dark Barkley? Do I know a Dark Barkley? I don't know. Hit the sub button first, though. Hit the sub button for NEW. They're closing in on 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Do you know who this is?
Donate, comment, or subscribe.
No, I don't need donations. I just need subscriptions so I can get a tattoo for you guys. That's really what I'm up to at this point.
NEW needs the donations.
Well,
we need a new board.
Donate to them. I actually, by the way, join the Patreon. In fact, I'm going to put the link up here right now. Thank you for reminding me before I do get to some comments here. These are their links. Go out there and join me on the Patreon page because I am a subscriber on Patreon, by the way. You can't see, at least I take care of friends. Friends could say that friends do support and donate because I actually am. I try once. And I don't even read the spoilers, by the way, because the Patreon subscribers get the spoilers. I actually say, nah, I'm good. I'll wait till Friday's show. But, yeah, obviously that's the case here. But speaking of the guys here, yeah. Now, Darkron, who's one of the people behind the Summer Bash, it's actually where it's his home where they're actually hosting the show. He says he'd love to have you. Now, after hearing that, I mean, after what you do to Mr. LaFlame, more than likely this Friday, I mean, maybe you could be slotted in against Soldier GP instead. After all, once you get through Mr. LaFlame, maybe you'll take his spot. Maybe you'll be there coming up at Summer Bash, hosted by the IMF and DKW in Bremen, Ohio. How does that sound?
Yeah, for some reason, D'Angelo suffers an injury and he can't go. Just hit me up. I'll fire the old Ram up and we'll be on our way.
Well, interesting, I
I
suppose.
got nothing going on.
But does it bother you, in your opinion, that all these names get talked about? And where was the Savage Animal, the guy that was the NEW Underground World Champion for a company that's having the Riot in the Ring, almost a prelude to Summer Bash? I mean, does that bother you at all? Does that fuel you going into Friday?
Definitely fuels me because I feel I am top 3 and pretty soon to be top 2. No disrespect to Mr. Dvorak. But if anything, it's if he didn't think I was doing a good enough job, he would have fired me when he was the owner. So he must have kept me around for a reason.
Yeah, I kept you around so you could lose to everybody.
Well, technically, you didn't really get the job done with the Surge, and I'm not going to remind you of that. But I mean, there is a point to be made on that. So I mean, I have to say touche. But you got a lot to prove. Then I mean, like I said,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about stay alive. Talk about me going the distance with Power Surge. Exactly.
I did. I brought it up. You were here. I brought it up. You didn't want to talk about it. I had you here with the group, but you were
we were with the group.
You were like frosty. I don't know. It was like the rest of the group was like happy to be here. Everybody was like hunky dory, and you were kind of like, I don't know. You were just like, I don't know.
Listen, that night I'm almost certain I didn't get Chinese, so I didn't have any egg rolls.
But that's Gabe Sayers' fault, not mine. That's Gabe Sayers.
It was probably hotter.
He's on
than the
Twitch right
dick.
now. Go to Gabe Sayers. Gabe Sayers is on Twitch right now. He actually reactivated his Twitch account. Go to him on that. It doesn't do with me. I mean, I couldn't order you Chinese.
Yeah, trying to get a hold of Gabe is fucking.
It's like root canal. I know. It's
more trouble than it's worth.
Hey, I mean,
I can't go on that. I can't go that far in saying that much. But what I can do is actually, if you want to watch NEW's Riot in the Ring this Friday, how about we give a nice little plug right there? Because that's the YouTube page. They got a nice logo that they've redone. They're closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Our good old buddy DJ Colt has done a lot of work for them. Although DJ Colt was mad because I was favoring TBW over ESW, but I got an explanation for that on tomorrow's show because I got a little bit to say on somebody else. I'm going to save that for your show because I do have some things to say on ESW. Right now, I'm here to promote, though. I'm here to do company business and support NEW, which is a company I actually do have a vested interest because I actually subscribe to the Patreon page. But that's where you can watch the Riot in the Ring and see these gentlemen in action. So you better go out there and support them. Speaking of people who are aligned with Mr. LaFlame, Hillbilly Tilly, the general manager of the Alliance Wrestling League, who always shares my shows on X and everything else, says, howdy, fellas. Obviously, hello there to Mr. Tilly. And also hello to Mr. Andrew Lovelace, by the way, who's at Summer Bash, but not you, Mr. Savage. And he's also a fixture in the Pennsylvania independent wrestling circuit. And he says, hello, gentlemen. He loved the carried pigeon line. Yes, the carried pigeon is right. Justin Parsley, speaking of Summer Bash roster personnel, 3-time Hall of Famer, but not going to be a 4-time Hall of Famer. He does say hello. Also, we see here Zilla. Zilla is like the resident, I guess, bot expert of Sportswire Radio. How you doing, Zilla? Nice to see. No, we're happy to see Zilla for sure. Surge is another one we would love to have. I feel like Surge came up, though. I feel like that it was brought up. I don't know if I feel like it was brought up, but I just know that Mr. Dvorak and Mr. Surge had a scheduling conflict, and they have the Riot in the Ring anyway. They have to think about it this way. The Riot in the Ring is every Friday. They can't be at 2 places in one.
2 more Fridays. This Friday
See,
and the next one.
And obviously, Mr. Savage, I mean, I don't know how you could transport, if you defeat Mr. LaFlame, I'd be seeing you on any WTV because I'm not going to be there in Ohio. I'm going to be watching Riot in the Ring. So I'm imagining you couldn't be there anyway at Summer Bash.
I'm fucking hit the Shoelace Express. Second that bell rings, I'm out. I'm at my bag.
I guess you could theoretically, right? I mean,
I'm my bag packed. I'm gone.
Helicopter, right? Could get you to Ohio, right from Massachusetts to Ohio is what, an hour? Right, hour and a half?
I mean, I ain't that fancy. I wouldn't be able to
You
afford
could have
that.
went with it. We're live. I'm sure it would have been in the best interest that you could have did that, but
I'm trying to relate to the poor people, you know.
Well, I certainly am going to say no comment on that because people would not confuse me for that, and I don't want to certainly be intellectually dishonest to our audience. But let me ask you guys both this question. I'll come back to LaFlame, but how excited are you guys to let the people see what's going to be in store? Because I really, I can't stress it. I know you guys have heard what I've been saying, but the riot in the ring, I really think to me, this has to be a permanent fiction. What I've been watching so far in these first 2 weeks is just been, to me, this is what it should be about. This is just going out there. And, I was talking to some of the guys off the air. Rob O'Malley, I had a great conversation with. We're going to get him on here, I think, in 2 weeks. Rob O'Malley, what a nice guy, by the way. He probably killing me because he's really not a nice guy in the ring. I was talking with him about coming on. Obviously Mickey Vargas, who looks different apparently from what I've heard. We'll have to find out. Obviously King Shock. All these guys. Doc Holliday, I just spoke with the other day. These are talents that we would never see ever in the same ring. This is just, to me, like what you guys talked about when you were all here as a group a few weeks ago. I think it's even better from what it could have been anticipated so far.
Well, I'll say this first. A couple of years ago, we were at 400 subscribers. There's one person in particular, which I'll refrain from saying the name. They said that we would never break 500 subscribers and no one would ever want to work with us. Just look at us now. We have plenty.
Is it anyone I know? Is it anyone I know?
Yeah,
probably right.
Yes,
okay. Oh boy. Oh God. Oh wow. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
You're actually a fan of them. You're actually a fan of them, but I won't name drop them. But
I think I know who then it is. Then I think I know who it is. Then go ahead.
You might have it, but this one person in particular said that we would never break 500 subscribers. No one would ever want to work with us, and now we have our own tournament. We have people flying here from Tennessee, people driving here from New York, Pennsylvania, all over the United States. And all I gotta say is, look at us now. Look at how much we've grown and how much we will continue to grow. Because I still think that we're one of the most underrated federations on YouTube. For whatever reason, people don't talk about NEW enough, in my personal opinion. But that's why I appreciate everything that you do here, Tom. Doesn't really matter to us because we love to go out there and do what we do. We're going to continue to do that. All kayfabe aside, we are like a family here. And we had a lot of fun, in my opinion, at Riot in the Ring. And we would.
Yeah, I heard from the guys. You know what? I just named a bunch of guys that wrestled on the show. Havoc was telling me off there, Tom, it really met my expectations more and some. I really hope that they do it again. He was even telling me, Stephen Havoc was actually telling me this. He was saying, Tom, I really hope you give these guys more coverage. No, I'm serious. I would actually show you the screenshot. He was actually telling me, give these guys more coverage. I was speaking with King Shock and he talked about, he was like, wow, you reached out to me. I watch you and I'm so happy that, you talk about this company. And you know what? I think you're right that this is an under the radar company, but I don't think it's going to be under the radar much longer because I think right now what you guys have done is really broken down a lot of doors. You guys have done open collaboration. And if anybody said that they shouldn't work with you with 400 subscribers or 500 can eat my shorts, and I can assure you, you don't want to get on my bad side because anybody that's not friends with NEW is not going to be friends with me. So I'll put that out there. So I will say this, anybody that doesn't want to work with NEW certainly is no friend to All Wrestling Matters. And I want to put it out there that this is a company that I think that does have the best talent. This is a company that I do think gets it. This is a company that I do think that goes out there and is putting out a product that people should invest in. People should support. I put the Patreon page up there. Yes, you're damn straight. I'm a subscriber. I'm not a subscriber so I can get the early access. I'm doing it because this guys that they're putting out the product for, they're going and doing it for the right reason. This is a company that to me is really putting out things that really what everybody should be a part of. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it. If you don't mind, you can say nothing on this. I really was supposed to be your segment about LaFlame, but it doesn't matter at this point because I'm going to just spitball it. I think a lot of what I see is better than independent wrestling. I come and watch independent wrestling. I have guys and gals come on here, and I'm struggling for air. It's almost like I'm falling and I can't get up almost, and I don't want to get up. I mean, I watch what you guys do, and I do try to give you guys as much coverage. I know it's only, Roma's only, built. There's only 24 hours in a day, but, on this platform, I really believe in the product. I believe in the vision. And I think that you guys are going to get to 2,500 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers, 4,000. I think the sky is the limit because you know what? You're right there. If you're out there right now, go hit the sub button for them. I've actually given you guys 3 subscriptions because I got the Promo Wrestling Federation and the Pride Wrestling Federation. You got 2 more in your pocket, and I'll have more YouTube channels in a few months. So you'll get more subs. If that'll be in my power, I'll make it happen. But I really think, to me, this event, I really hope it's a permanent thing. I really hope that we see not just 15 companies, but 30 companies. I want to go out there and say this. I'm going to say it on the record. I know that there's some people here. I want to say hello to DG Colt. DG Colt, obviously, love to see you here, my friend. Always good to see you. But I really hope that there's like 60 companies. I want to even go further in saying this. Somebody can quote me on it, and I have no problem with it. Because when I say what's on the air and off the air. I really hope that the riot in the ring almost becomes like the NCAA tournament in college basketball. I want to see 30 teams, 30 promotions, 60 promotions. What's it, 68 now? They'll probably make it like 80 by the time the next TV deal comes up. But the facts of the matter is that I want to see every promotion that's out there in the backyard and the underground. I want to see them all here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Because I think really what you guys are doing, everybody should be a part of. So if it's up to me, that's what I think should take place, and that's how it's going to be, because it will be that way, and I can assure you. But 15 was great. I think next year it should be 20, 25, 30, and I think that, look, DKW, IMF, WCE, I'll say it, DBW, but the chances of that are probably slim to none. I'll throw them out there. VTW, definitely less than 0 there. EBW, probably like 10 EBWs out there. I'll throw them all out there. Why not? ROEW. I mean, everybody should be. There's no shade on these companies. XCW. I mean, where else is out there? I mean, I would say Legendary Backyard Wrestling. If you're out there, I mean, why not any promotion? Come to Massachusetts. Test your skills. Test your ability. Because I really think, to me, this should be 30, 40 companies. Any company out there, with a few exceptions, obviously. I'm not going to go into names. You could figure out the wrestling skills on those. But the facts are is that I think this should be a thing like the NCAA tournament in college basketball.
I want to touch on what Jake brought up about people not wanting to work with us. I think it's because we actually are physical. We actually hit each other. We actually make this shit look good. And
what do I say all the time? It's real with you guys. It's real.
Exactly. We're not cosplaying. We're not pretending to hit. Like, we care about what we're doing, and that's why our product is so good, and exactly why we feel we're underrated. Because we go out there and we pour our heart and our soul into everything we do.
1,000%. There's no question about that. I mean, I think that it speaks volumes into what you guys do, and I think that that's why I think everybody should test their skills in NEW. Really, I mean, who else is out there? Come on down. I think, to me, this should be really where the best test their skills. Yeah, I'm with you, DJ. This is no ketchup package here. This is no art styrofoam pastel projects. You come here. This is like when the blood is the real blood here. It's almost like when you see hardcore bleed in a UWF show or Mikey Anarchy.
If you see, I got a nice little scar, and I'm not gonna say how it happened, but
don't spoil it.
Does happen after I in the ring. And
well, don't spoil it for me, because I don't want it to be spoiled, because we still haven't seen all of this take place yet. And I want to make sure that people go out and support you guys, because that's the most important thing. And I actually have the Instagram page. So if for whatever reason you aren't in touch with NEW, I highly hope that you get in touch with the company, because they are always releasing videos. And you got here's some of the field upcoming, and you got different people here like Rob O'Malley and King Shock is going to be a part of things. Kobo and Joe Star. I think Joe Star and Kobo is another wild match. That's another match that people should really keep an eye on. How about this one here? I mean, 2 guys in I mean, I wasn't going to say anything because I'm going to talk a lot about this on Thursday's show. I'm going to, not spoil that for the audience there. And
Two best friends.
How about this guy, Mikey Blackheart? I mean, a guy, I know him. I've seen him in other places. You have a lot of history with him also, with Mr. Chinese, eggnog himself, Mr. Egg Roll, Gabe Sayers. I mean, Gabe Sayers, everybody knows him. And how about Doc Holliday and Reyes Silva? Another fascinating matchup. I mean, another dangerous matchup. And I think this is the biggest wild card of them all. Mickey Vargas and the Surge. And the Surge is going to be here tomorrow to talk about that. I mean, listen, the roster here is endless. And the Savage and the LaFlame. I mean, where you ain't going to find this in any place like this. You ain't going to find it.
We are putting matches together that should be paid for, in my opinion.
Oh, I'd pay for it. I'd pay to watch a lot of these matches, and I think that people should pay for it.
To touch on your comment about the indies, I've wrestled for some indie feds that are literally, NEW is literally, I don't know, the only thing we're missing is the crowd. Everything else is indie is underground, yarder as fuck. So...
Yeah, the crowds are, it's...
The crowd was the only thing separating us and NEW from this indie promotion.
But you know what? I don't even think, to me, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, jump in.
I just want to let you guys know that I'm about to head off. I don't want to keep Savage's episode all about me as well. Let Savage guys little shine. Thank you for having me, but I'll keep watching.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for saving me, Papa.
Thanks you. You want to say, go ahead. The floor, I'll bring you back up. The floor is yours. So, I mean, I'm going to finish it for you then, since you're going to think about it, because I can see. Listen, I agree with you. The crowd is certainly important, but I think you guys have, in some cases, more things that an indie show has. I mean, I think you have the competition, you have the talent, you have the energy, you have the storyline, and you know what? I mean, let that sort itself out. It will. It'll eventually will, and I'm very excited about the Riot in the Ring, and I just hope that people check it out. And you're obviously going to be wrestling D'Angelo LaFlame, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the best thing about new. Like, when I transitioned to indies, there wasn't a hard learning curve. I was like, this is pretty much the same shit I do with my buddies, just with people I don't know, and now I'm getting paid. So...
Because you know why? And I'll tell you why. Because you have gotten that learning curve. You got that taken care of here in NEW. Guys like Justin, guys like Jake, guys like the Surge. You can get mad at me about saying this, but guys like Spade, certainly Zero, right? I know you like
Zero. Zero, my man. Yeah.
I mentioned Zero, Reyes Silva. You got a lot of talent. Leonidas. I mean, you have a lot of talents here that's where you got the learning curve kind of taken care of, and you kind of, passed the curve. And that's why I think that I'm really excited about what's going to be ahead. And I think that this Friday, in fact, I've actually put off what I'm doing Friday to make sure I watch the show, because I didn't get the first show, part one, I got a chance to watch in its entirety live. Last week's show, I was working, unfortunately, and I got to watch it on a replay like everybody else. But this time, I'm making sure that I get a chance to watch it in real time, because I really want to see you test your skills against LaFlame, but everybody else in the field. I mean, who are you most excited in the matchups to watch, as a matter of fact? What matchup makes you most interested aside from yours?
Mickey and Surge, because...
Mickey don't like this style, by the way. If you saw it from his matchup in the first one, he did not like this style at all.
And that's the thing. I know how Surge is, so he's going like, I will stay away from it, because I don't like the hardcore side. Surge is that kind of guy to lean into it, and especially if he knows you don't like it, he's gonna make you feel it. And I'm sure it's gonna be a brutal match. Chair shots. We saw crutches, kendo sticks. They got trash cans there. He's gonna make Mickey really reconsider coming. If he don't like that kind of stuff, he's gonna be in for a world of hurt.
And I tell you, the other match that I'm really excited most for, because I know a little bit about both these guys, is Gabe Sayers and the Blackout. I mean, this is, to me, a matchup that I feel like I really think that this is a matchup that really fascinating to see. Another, a dark match, a dark horse match.
Yeah, and Blackout is kind of underrated.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
For how for as a performer and even as a wrestler. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but
he's been on a while.
He's much better than some people like to give him credit for. And Gabe, thankfully he's come back. He's recovered from his heart stuff. So
yes, seriously,
he's back in the game. So
love Gabe.
I'm glad to see him back in NAW, starting with this Riot in the Ring.
Gabe's a good man. Gabe is a good man, and Gabe's the actually reason I'm speaking to you right now. So, I have to say much love to Gabe, because I wouldn't be speaking to you guys if it wasn't for Gabe. Gabe actually said, I remember we spoke, I think after he came on the show in like February, he's like, I really think that you should talk to the company here. And I think that that's kind of where it was all born. And, Jake and Justin, obviously, we know that history, and King Shock and Rob O'Malley's in the matchup. I'm most excited for, because I'm supposed to get these guys both to come on Sportswire very soon. So I'm very fascinated in what these guys bring to the table. So, it's obviously the card itself. And if you want to check them out on Instagram, and, you can definitely do that. And that's their page. And we're going to talk for a little while longer with Mr. D Savage. But let me get to some comments here, because people do want to talk to you still. Also, Summer Bash is next week. It's 3 days. Yes, July 5th, July 7th. Thank you for correcting me, Darkron. Yes, July 5th, July 7th. So I guess Darkron is still extending you the invite. He's still extending the invite. If you'd like to show up, you're welcome to. I have heard, by the way, where the event is actually near a cattle farm. So if you'd maybe like to figure out where your dinner might be coming from, it might be coming from Bremen, Ohio. Just saying there. But how you doing there? Obviously, good to see you, DG Colt. Darkron is poor as hell. That's why he better be charging all the guys that are staying in his home to obviously help him pay the bills. Yes, NW and exclamation points. I couldn't agree with you more, DG. Best and most unique tournament in wrestling. Here. And by the way, Mr. Spade is here. By the way,
hey, about time we did something useful.
No comment. Best in Worcester, aka Worcester. No ketchup packs in NAW. Absolutely couldn't agree with you more. Although I could use a ketchup packet for my French fries in a little while, but that'll be a different conversation, different time. No place like it, and I'm glad to be coming back. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, and I hope to see Stephen Havoc more on Sportswire Radio. Savage always enjoys hearing my name mentioned.
Yeah, it's like passing a kidney stone.
I think my mother just went through one of those, so I'm going to say no comment on that. But right. I'm sure she's tuned in. Well, hopefully not. And I didn't see the man bun against Onyx, but maybe we'll see it against Mr.
That's
LaFlame.
For you, Bren.
Yeah, Bren obviously does like the man bun, and you must be a very happy man. But basically, then, if you had a few words from Mr. LaFlame before Friday, what would they be?
Bring some ibuprofen. Make sure your flight is as far from the match as you can make it, because you're going to need time to rest, recover, because D Savage is coming to put out the flame of D'Angelo LaFlame.
What would it mean to you to win the Riot in the Ring?
To win something that I'm not...
you're a very technical wrestler. Yes, I agree with you. You're a very technical
Exactly.
wrestler.
To win this, I would be rubbing it. Now, I hate when people come on here and pretend to be something they're not, And I feel a little bit I did the first 2 times, because I'm pretty... I was kind of humble, but I'm not a humble guy at all.
Yeah, I really feel like tonight, I know before the Wi-Fi issues, I really felt like now that we've known each other, I really feel like that this is who you are, I don't know.
And if I win this Riot in the Ring, it's getting rubbed in everybody's face.
Well,
everybody.
I got a follow-up to that, not to compare and contrast, because you know how much I'm supporting Riot in the Ring and I'm supporting Summer Bash. I'm about all wrestling matters, and I really believe in that motto, and you guys are a part of it. Darkron and the IMF boys have been carrying the water that in many ways has been started here, and you guys have played a part in that. But if I were to tell you that you winning the Riot in the Ring maybe would mean more to you if, let's say, you were in the Summer Bash event and you were to win the All Wrestling Matters Championship, which is a belt that Sean Jovi and myself put together, or the PWF World Title, another thing that I'm a part of. I put together with that, and obviously helping with that belt. But if I were to tell you that winning the Riot in the Ring in the month of July would maybe mean more to you than winning anything in Summer Bash, what would you say to that?
If anything, I would say, how about I win this Riot in the Ring, and then I win the All Wrestling Matters title. That's what, an 8-man.
8-man tournament.
Yeah, 8-man tournament.
The PWF is a battle like a battle royal rumble, pretty much, which is the third day of the show.
Yeah.
But whoever comes out of that will be the champion. They're going to obviously hold that title and defend it, right? So if you win the Riot in the Ring, shouldn't that give you first rights at whoever would win those championships? I mean, isn't that kind of a fair statement? That's why I say you winning the Riot in the Ring, couldn't that mean more?
If anything, this could be the start to the hardcore side of D Savage, the deathmatch side of D Savage, because I've seen many guys.
I mean, if Atomic Titan could go out there and do hardcore wrestling, why can't you?
I mean, yeah, Atomic Titan can do hardcore wrestling. At the massacre, the blood on my face was my own blood.
It wasn't that already. I watched
ketchup,
it.
And that's
we just saw Jake's match with Spade. What they were doing in that match, it was definitely not fake. There was no styrofoam chairs there. There was no cardboard cutout. It was no anything. That was basically straight up, almost like what I was watching. Brian White was here Friday, who was in the IWA Deep South, going to be in the Carnage Cup. What he was doing to himself, that's basically what you guys were doing in NEW. So yeah, we know that already. But
yeah, I could very well turn into the Deathmatch Savage. Who knows? Maybe the
Savage Animal becomes
maybe the D and D Savage will come to be Deathmatch.
Well, you can't spell hardcore without A&E, and your name has A&E in there for Savage, and D is the first name, so you can't spell hardcore without D, A&E.
And that would be scary, because you imagine me swinging a chair multiple times on somebody, me swinging a kendo stick.
I would probably prepare my own funeral.
I just don't feel good. I would not. In the moment, I wouldn't care, but at the end, I'd be like, ew. It's like when you watch somebody get postered in NBA, you're like...
Well, I was going to ask you next before we, end the show in about 15 or 20 minutes, but would winning the Riot in the Ring mean more to you than seeing your beloved Boston Celtics win their 18th NBA championship? Oh, I really put you on the spot there now.
Damn, bro. Let me tell you, listen, I would want the Celtics to win because I'm all about the team. I would sacrifice my personal accomplishment for the Riot in the Ring for the Celtics to win. So if I don't end up winning, I know that's how it was meant to go. But they say you can't have your cake and eat it too, but that's the opposite of what's going to happen.
Crazy to me that the Celtics have only won 2 championships since 1986. It was 2008 and this year. That's crazy.
We don't got to bring that up.
But you won this year. It doesn't matter. Listen, I'm in New York. I mean, the Knicks haven't won in 50 plus years. The Nets in Brooklyn haven't won since they were the ABA. And I'm an Islanders fan in hockey. They haven't won in my lifetime. And the Mets, aside from the Yankees, the Mets haven't won since 1986. I wasn't born. Football, we don't have a New York team. So, yeah, so trust me, I'm in New York. My teams all lose, so don't feel too bad. But, okay, fair enough. I mean, it's been
a rough time as a Celtics fan.
It has. No, listen, and you guys have been close these last 4 or 5 years and didn't get over the finish line. So this was, kind of good for you. But, coming into the end of the show, we did, though, talk about you and LaFlame. And, all these names out there in the underground. You brought up Jack Delta earlier. You talked about Omen Black. You talked about Soldier GP. Atomic Titan just got brought up. James Taylor is the owner of ROEW. Aaron Blaze is a Pennsylvania guy. CJ Black, everybody talks about him. You talked about Alabama, ADT. XCW, Justin Parsley comes up. Tommy the Man Merriman's their champion. There's a whole list of places that have all these champions that always get ballyhooed here on Sportswire Radio. Everybody talk about Resurrection Wrestling. Anthony Steele, you brought him up. He's in Resurrection Wrestling now. You got guys there all the time get talked about. Drake Golddragon, Dustin Alexander, Cameron Cage. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, Jay Wild is their world champion. Russell Cooper was their world champion. JX, everybody talks about him right now. Jason Storm was the world champion. Big Man Cam, everybody talks about him. He's the CBW champion over there. There's a whole list. I won't even mention the guys in Maryland. You pretty much know all those guys. Let's not even go there at that. You could mention them if you want. It's up to you. But the facts is that I don't hear enough of D Savage. And maybe you are motivated going into Friday because your name doesn't get brought up enough.
And that's exactly it. They get brought up. And listen, I have respect for the guys, what they've done. But here's the thing. They have either a billion championships in the backyard because they've been doing it for 15 years, whatever, since they were like 12.
7-8 years, yep.
Yeah, guess what? I've been doing it not
2
even
years?
2 years. I started in October of 22.
Almost 2 years.
Not even 2 years in, I'm already doing all this indie shit. Here's the thing. So if I were to compare myself to those guys, and if I had the time in, I could only imagine how many.
So you'd have more championships than Jake because, Jake's in the Hall of Fame and he's got the most championships of any Hall of Fame. So you mean to tell me that if you had the same length in your career as even a guy like Aaron Blaze, who's won a lot of championships, he's been doing it for 7 years. Jack Delta's been doing it for more than 7 years. Even those guys as examples who've been doing it for 7 years, you'd probably have, 50, 60 championships then pretty much, right?
And that's the thing. To me, it's quality over quantity. Because I might not have
That's
as
a
many.
Jack Delta line, by the way. You know that, right?
Well, I apologize. I was not trying to.
Don't worry, I won't hold it against you, but I'll remind him Friday of that. He'll probably appreciate it.
And I got respect for the guys that've been putting in the work, paving the way.
Yep.
Jack Delta. I hear Aaron Blaze. He was supposed to come to New, but whatever happened there happened.
How about Chase Wakefield was here? He was supposed to come to New, and he basically he apologized on the air. Chase Wakefield.
I've heard his name as well. So it's like, I don't care about your guys' championship now. I care about just going to test myself with these 7-year, 8-year, 10-year vets. Because I'm not young, but I am the young bull in the industry now.
In ring experience, you're young.
Exactly.
I mean, listen, ring experience, you're young. I think you're comparable to Omen and Soldier. They've only been in it for about, I think, the same time as you, maybe a few months longer. I mean, I've known of them since December of 22. They were just starting out a few months prior. Then they went to James Taylor's podcast, and then they came here. So I think that's the comparable comp.
And how long has the Flame been wrestling? Do you know?
About maybe officially about 2 years, about 2 or 3 years.
Exactly. And his name carries a lot of weight. And that's exactly
it does.
Exactly why I wanted to see him in the Riot.
He was in TBW. He wrestled in their shows that have 3,000-4,000 views. So that's why people go and they know. It's like almost when you go to buy soda in the store, right? You see Coke and Pepsi. He wrestled for TBW.
And we've tried to get down to TBW, which there's, I don't know if I'm breaching anything, but I really don't care. Like, I know there's the talks have stalled. It's been this, it's been that. I think,
you want me to make the talks become unstalled? Because I could do that. You realize that, right? We're live.
I know my guys are doing their thing, but I think from the outside looking in, I don't run it. I think it could be, what if these guys come down here, they get the eyes that TBW usually gets. And then all of a sudden here we are blowing up because we are introduced to the new audience.
You know that LaFlame going, no matter what people could say, LaFlame coming here definitely put eyeballs on the product. I mean, listen, he went to Alabama. They just hit 500 subscribers. You look at what LaFlame has done in Resurrection Wrestling. They're about 600 subscribers. You guys are about to hit 2,000. You might hit 2,000 on Friday. There's no question that having a guy like LaFlame alongside other guys like Doc Holliday, like Gabe Sayers, guys like yourself, guys like even, again, Kobo, guys like, again, Mickey Vargas, Rob O'Malley. There's a lot of guys that add things to the product, but there's no question that, TBW, they'll work with you now if they want to. It's up to them if they want to do it. I mean, I'll certainly say everybody should work with you guys. But speaking of people, before we finally move on to the show, and he decided to show up here and make a last-minute appearance, and that is Mr. LaFlame himself. And, you know, maybe he's in a hotel somewhere right now in Massachusetts waiting to come back out there on Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And he decided to say hello for a few minutes.
And, that's what him coming up I appreciate because, he has that weight and he has the potential to bring eyes. And that's what we should be doing.
He says hi, by the way. Yes,
helping each other out.
That's what I'm about. You know what? That's what, and you know what? It bothers me that somebody would say not to work with you guys because, I know you guys. I've gotten to know you guys, and I know what you guys bring to the table. And I'll even say it because I don't have any problem saying it. Even companies like XCW and DBW, I've had my issues at times with the people that are at the helm there, but I never tell people not to go there. I never tell people not to go watch their product. I think to me, really real olive branch in having one of their talents, Brogan O'Shea, on Monday's show. DBW, I've had guys on there after some of the things, and I don't think that people should ever say not to go somewhere and not support somebody. So anybody who says that obviously is not into the spirit of All Wrestling Matters, and I'm going to certainly let you go soon because I see you drinking more water. But the point I'm
good to go, baby.
Okay, well that's different for some reason. But the point is that I definitely think NEW is a place that D'Angelo the Flame, no matter what he does, no matter if he wins or loses on Friday, his career is going to exponentially be speeded up by leaps and bounds because he wrestled competition like Leonidas and yourself, to say the very least. So that's my opinion.
100%. And I fucking lost my train of thought.
It doesn't matter because we've been talking about the whole evening. Your Wi-Fi went out, and that's kind of where we've been at that. But
oh man, dude, let me tell you, that threw me off. Like I'm not.
No, it's okay.
It just shitted on my whole.
It's funny when you had the storms. We just had them here in New York. So literally, when I waited it out, and then all of a sudden, when I was setting up, it was like the storms ended, and then you must have got them 40 minutes later because you're probably in Central PA.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, that's probably why you got them from, because I'm in Staten Island, so it went going toward your way. So that was
like I said, power was out for 2 hours earlier. It was raining sideways.
Well, that it is what it is, But look, I think at the end of the day, you and Mr. LaFlame, you'll see each other Friday. And I think there was still, you said a lot tonight that I think people will still take away from. I think people got the point. I think people know that you win this, your career, in many ways, you're going to take the spot that Mr. LaFlame has. You're going to be the guy. You talked about ROEW, and I have no doubt that ROEW, you'll be going there. Not anybody else once you win the Riot in the Ring. I have no doubt AWL, you'll go there. I have no doubt IMF, you'll go there.
IMF.
IMF.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll go there. You'll go there too.
I want to see Omen. I want to see Anthony Steele. I see you guys on here. I mean, you guys inspire me, to step my game up. So, and that's exactly what I look for. I look for the guy who I think is right at my level or just above me, and I just start working to try to be better than them.
You know what, though? But I have no doubt that they have a lot of respect for you, too. I have no doubt that Omen definitely knows who you are. Soldier definitely knows who you are. Guys like Sean Jovi know who you are. Darkron definitely got the message tonight. Knows who you are because Steele was on here with Jake a couple of months ago. So we know the history there, Also, Mr. LaFlame would like to say before we move on, even though we go against each other Friday, I generally do wish the best for you, Mr. D Savage. That was kind of nice.
And I appreciate that. And I know that him and I are going to go out there and we are going to put the best match in the entire Riot. This is going to be the best match because I'm coming with everything I got. And I know he's going to do the same. And in my opinion, there's nobody that works better or harder than me.
Well, that sounds like the D Savage that I think a lot of people are going to want to tune into coming up here this Friday's Riot in the Ring. And D'Angelo has pretty much called it a certified hood classic. This sounds like it could be a nice game of pickup basketball going until it was supposed to be 21, but it goes into extra time because the winner's got to win by 2. It reminds me of those days on the playground. I remember those days very well in Brooklyn, playing on the playground. It was you go to 21, and if you didn't, were up by 1, you had to win by 2, and that's why you want to follow D Savage on Instagram. So any promoter, any booker out there, he may call himself a failing bodybuilder, but he's going to certainly be the Riot in the Ring winner coming up. Instead, it's going to lead him to maybe the All Wrestling Matters Championship, the PWF title. I mean, there's PWF Mid-South. There's my PWF, which I own. So all of it, I got no doubt you're going to be a part of it. I can't wait to see what the future comes from. I can't wait to see you here this Friday. I can't wait to see you at July 15th. Of course, legendary Inoue event for Top Rope, Rope to Rope, Monday Night Mayhem, and Lance Inoue is going to be there. But most importantly, my guy D Savage, and maybe D Savage one of these days, you have all this success you're talking about. I could put you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So hopefully, maybe we'll get you here one day because it's, it won't be a Hall of Fame without a savage animal.
At this point, I was like, if Samson keeps showing up, he's gonna get on here before me. I gotta accomplish something.
Let's go. Let Samson calm down. Let's give you closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? I put Instagram up, and take it away.
First, go follow Tom here. He's doing a hell of a job promoting everybody. All Wrestling Matters.
Thank you.
I love it. He's introduced me to a bunch of new guys. Anthony Steele, Omen Black, those guys. AWL.
How about Mr. Taylor's wink phone number I gave you?
Tom is the hookup, and first and foremost, support him. Support
that.
NEW,
yes.
Riot in the Ring. We plan on making this a bigger event next year. So if you have any desire to come test your scale against some of the best, hit up Jake or Justin Abel Sane. One of those guys, they'll get you in the right direction. And when I win Riot in the Ring, if I got to go win the All Wrestling Matters title, I'll go do that too. Just start racking them up.
Well, you know what? It sounds to me like that we're going to be seeing a lot more of D Savage on Sportswire Radio, and we're going to see him take his rightful place into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame alongside the likes of D'Angelo the Flame, alongside the likes of, obviously, Mr. Jake Dvorak, obviously, Mr. Dvorak himself, and we'll see. I have no doubt maybe Gabe Sayers also is in the Hall of Fame. We'll take his place on, and even Stephen Havoc, who, by the way, Stephen Havoc is the only wrestler I have from the state of New York. You would think, right, being from New York, that I would have more than New York wrestlers in the Hall of Fame, but Stephen Havoc, but he's the only Hall of Famer I have from my home state. How about that, Stephen Havoc? That's the really kind of neat thing, and I have no doubt you're going to certainly join all the other guys in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame eventually, whether it's going to be this month, next month. But most importantly, please support our friends at NEW, and please support everybody out there. I'm so excited about Riot in the Ring Round 2. I'm so excited that I've actually put my plans off to actually watch the show before I go on the air live on Sportswire, because I have James Taylor. By the way, I'm going to mention you, by the way, to James Taylor. I'm going to mention him. He's here, and then Jack Delta's here. So I'm going to definitely be mentioning you to both guys, but most importantly, I've actually put my day off and where I was supposed to be to go out there at 6:00 and watch Riot in the Ring. Thank you so much for your hospitality. Go back to Samson now. Go fix your Wi-Fi. Go obviously figure out what the power is like in your house and use all that power. Use all that real raw energy for Friday night, 6:00, Riot in the Ring, round 2 against D'Angelo the Flame. And thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for everything that you do, putting your blood, sweat, and tears out there in the ring. You have truly been a part of All Wrestling Matters, and I can't thank you enough, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here soon.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, that was D Savage, the Savage Animal, getting us ready here for Friday's Riot in the Ring round 2. He'll be taking place there, and he'll be wrestling D'Angelo the Flame, the Real Raw Energy, the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Champion. He'll be wrestling there, and my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, X, and also on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page and the Pro Wrestling Federation YouTube page, along with Sportzwire.org. You're going back to regular scheduled programming, and I'll be back here tomorrow between 8:30 and 9 or so with Jake Dvorak and The Surge. They are here, 2 for the price of 1 live. They're going to talk about their matches at Riot in the Ring Round 2, plus whatever else they want to say, because look at those guys. I ain't getting away with them. I'm going to let them say whatever they want. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Be safe if you're dealing with some thunderstorms and everything else in between, because he's going to give you the storms Friday for you, D'Angelo Faye. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the